While we're going live, let me get this map shared with everybody here. I did share this with everybody in Discord, but you guys have it here as well. Welcome, everyone, to the latest episode. Well, I say the latest episode, but technically, this is the first episode of Season 1 of The Weave and the Void. We have been going through and doing the prequel series over the last few months. We're going to way through the Escape from Parthana module, which is the prequel module that comes with the Weave and the Void source book, detailing the adventures of these characters as they made their way to the capital city of Parthana and then eventually had to escape due to an outbreak that happened. And then at the end of that campaign, they escaped with their lives barely on a broken down ship with members who were sick with the plague and just a whole bunch of other stuff had happened over that. Now, last week we had a sit down and did like a role play sort of preliminary idea of like what have your characters been up to for the past 6 months, because there has been a 6 month time period from the end of the Escape from Parthana module and when where we're starting off tonight's campaign, which is episode 1 of season 1. So a little bit of a backstory. The political affiliations between two major groups are at play here. One is called the Circle of Mages, and the other is the Church of the Elder Ways. Now, if you know the history of our world, these two have been at odds over the past few centuries, with tensions rising depending on who's in charge at a given point in time for the Church of the Elder Ways. The previous leadership was friendly towards the Circle of Mages, but when the turned started turning, the elven mages took the blame for causing the outbreak in the first, or causing the people who were sick to turn. Now, that's not actually the case, at least not as far as we know. And regardless of that fact, when the previous enlightened father or the leader of the church died, the new person who stepped up in charge very much blames the elves. They attacked the elven towers as you were making your way out of Parthana, and as you were on your boat escaping, the Tower of Mages fell. It was blown into oblivion, killing hundreds of mages and decimating the ranks of the Circle of Mages. In the 6 months since then, the Church of the Elder Ways has begun a purge of all elven mages. Anyone who is suspected of being an elven mage is taken away. Now, behind the scenes, we explained last week that there are concentration camps going on. It's very much a scenario where the average ordinary person doesn't necessarily know that this is taking place, but those of you who are Fey very much know what's going on. And um, in the 6 months since then, we've seen the organization here in the city of Forkland, which is where you eventually made your way. Let's go ahead and get that map a little bit better centered on screen for our viewers. I probably enlarge it just a little bit.
Can you reshare it real quick, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you.
Did you get it?
Yep, thanks.
Okay. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Trying to get it. There we go for our viewers who are watching. So the campaign originally started in the city of Forkland for various reasons. Bounty had connections here. He was part of the Forkland Conclave. The Forkland Conclave was founded by some ex-members of the Circle of Mages. The Circle of Mages was created by the elves, and they were very strict on membership. No half-elves, no half-dwarves, no, anything of lesser than pure bloodlines. Not because they were um, against them per se, but because they didn't view them as being strong enough to handle the responsibilities of wielding magic in a safe manner. In a similar fashion, sea elves do not allow any half elves to be crew members aboard elven vessels, because sailing the mad seas requires the unhuman agility and strength of full elven bloodlines. Whereas the Forkland Conclave was very happy to accept half elves and half dwarves and half halflings and so on and so forth, and quarter elves and people who were of lesser bloodlines and thus weaker in elemental magic, but they were nevertheless willing to take them in. Bounty was previously a member of this organization. Now, in the 6 months since the fall of the Circle of Mages, the Forkland Conclave has been officially disbanded because the Church of the Elder Ways moved in and started hunting down and disappearing basically all anyone who was an elven mage. Now they haven't quite yet gotten to suspecting, or at least they haven't outwardly started speaking out against dwarven mages or um, halfling mages, brownie mages, so on and so forth. Mostly because out of all of the Fey races, elves were the ones who were traditionally made up the bulk of the elven of the circle of mages. There were a handful of dwarven mages, a handful of halfling, and a handful of brownies, but mostly anyone who was going to the mage tower was an elf. Now, outside we have plenty of hedge mages and hedge wizards who are of all the different races apart from human, of course, being that this is elemental magic. But in any case, in the last 6 months, the Forkland Conclave has been basically disbanded, at least from an official point of view, and the building, which is marked on the map as the Forkland Conclave, is essentially abandoned. It's been cordoned off by the Church of the Elder Ways, who have a temple right next door called the Temple of Light across from the Celestial Plaza, and there are guards that roam there, and they've gone in and they've taken all the relics and everything else and brought them into the church's armories and essentially dismantled, and what's left is an empty structure of a building. Throughout the city, over the last 6 months, anyone who was suspected of being an elven mage has either disappeared, been disappeared, or gone underground, gone into hiding. And what's left is a city that is constantly on its toes, and everyone is looking over their shoulders at all points in time. Now, when the characters left the Parthana city 6 months ago, they were limping this way in a broken down ship. That ship, it took about 3 months for repairs, and I just gave it a name. Chris might decide to change the name later. She was really busy this week because we were getting all of our baby cats neutered and everything else. So um, I just called it the Silver Trident. What is a trident called, Chris? It's like a spear, but it has tres puntos. It's like a Las sirenas usan estos. Like Aquaman. Aquaman has a trident. What? Tridente. Es la Tridente Plata, de Plata. So it's the Silver Trident is her ship. It took about 3 months for that to get put back together. It is a human vessel, not an Elvis ship. It is a human ship, but it does well enough. And in the 3 months afterwards, she has been using that ship to sail up and down the coast, running errands for the Fuwar shipping company, the Fuwar trading company, who has begun to outsource a lot of their trade runs after the bulk of their fleet was destroyed in Parthana. In addition, Galoon has been working with Chrisma and Chrisma's ship to ferry her ales and her beers all up and down the coastline on the western coast between Forkland and other places. Um, so that's what has been going on in that arena for the past 3 months. Is Chrisma has been focused on getting her ship back up to speed and um, doing ship runs up and down the coast and working with Galoon as Galoon came back and worked on reestablishing her trade organization. Now, while Galoon was in the city, I believe you put this into Discord chat while I was
Hmm.
talking. I'm getting socials out. Is her name Moira?
Yeah,
So
that's my cousin.
your cousin Moira had sort of
Hmm.
run the operation for you where you were off in Parthana attempting to start a new branch of your business. And when that fell through, you obviously came back a little worse for wear, but realizing that maybe now's not a good time to start a new business venture, and so you've been focused on trying to keep the business afloat and trying to maintain good trade relations with all the other crap that's been going on because the lockdowns, excuse me, everything the church has been doing has been making trade a little more difficult, especially overland trade that goes to all of these other districts and towns and villages that were either dwarvish or elvish in origin. And so running up and down the coast to human based cities that have some Fey population has pretty much become your main focal point to keep the business afloat and to try to seek expansion where you can.
Yeah.
In the meantime, you came back to your tavern, which is a tavern slash inn slash establishment, which I don't have a map for yet, but that's going to be the next map I start working on. But we're thinking when we were discussing this last week, a sort of prancing pony type scenario where she has a tavern that has rooms for humans. It's got rooms for dwarves, rooms for halflings, rooms for brownies. It's sort of a mix, thinking perhaps 20 rooms in total, and also working in conjunction with a couple of places that I went ahead and put on the map just south of you. We've got Fairlane's Stables, which is where people can, if they come in and they have mounts or pack mules or anything like that, they can go across the street. You're good friends with Fairlane. Fairlane has her stable operations there. She is a halfling. You've known her for a couple of decades. She's a solid girl and runs a very tight ship with the stables. Then across the street is also another inn establishment called the Pristine Paramore. Now, this place, it's a slightly different class. Yeah, you might consider this to be sort of some people might call this it's not necessarily a brothel, but it definitely serves an upscale clientele who might occasionally pay extra for services rendered from some of the elite companions that frequent this establishment and live there. And that's also across the street from you. It's run by a place named Edgar. Edgar is sort of he's an interesting fellow. Some might call him sleazy, other might call him an entrepreneur. I like to think of him kind of like the Antonicus from Hercules and Xena. He's not above going outside the law when he needs to, but he's generally an upstanding kind of guy, as long as you don't get on his bad side.
I wouldn't like Edgar.
So also, at the end of this, when we came out of Parthona, Thamius was deathly ill, and we all thought he was going to die from the plague. And through the grace of the gods and the powers of the magic, and everyone pooling together, and then getting back to the city and working with the members of the conclave, which had at that point in time not yet been disbanded. Thamius was one of those extremely remote and lucky few who was able to pull through and spent the first 3 months in the city basically as an invalid in bed, slowly weaning his way back to strength. And the last 3 months he's been spent sort of trying to regain his fighting form, trying to regain his strength and his constitution, while also deep diving into the logbook that he had been given, trying to find any clues that he could find about his the whereabouts of the relic that his father had. Whether it was stolen or not is yet to be determined, but that his father was accused of letting it stolen, and thus tarnishing his name, the family's name within the church. I believe also during this time, as we talked about last week, Thamius has been struggling with the edicts handed out by the church, sort of this see something, say something. If you see an elf, let us know so that we can look into it. Mostly because he traveled with Bounty, and Bounty saved his life on a couple of occasions. He also saw the Circle of Life mages heal a bunch of people, and so witnessed the fact that the elves weren't actually these vile creatures that the church is telling people they are. Um, so that's been going on. Skinny, I forget what we said last week. You told everybody your name, which is Waylon. Your alias was Skinny.
Vice versa.
Yeah, sorry.
The alias is Wayland. Yeah.
Alias is Waylon, and your real name was Skinny.
And
my
the
bad.
fact that I'm a half elf.
Yeah, and the fact that you're half elf. So they now know that you're a half elf, that you were working as a spy for the Circle of Mages. The Circle of Mages is no more. So now it's you have been helping, I believe, with the other part of what's been going on, which is Bounty has been actively involved in basically the Underground Railroad here, which is essentially the surviving members of the Forkland Conclave have banded together and sort of been running this Underground Railroad type scenario where they're helping elven mages get out of the city and escape persecution from the church and escape the concentration camps that they know for a fact are actually taking place. And along with that has come rumors that somewhere in the south, to the southwest perhaps, there's a rebellion forming against the Church of the Elder Ways, and that there are a group of Fae who have been banding together and who have been liberating concentration camps. Rumors of that have met your ears. So Skinny, you've kind of been helping Bounty with that, and this has been part of this is taking place underneath the Laughing Badger Tavern in these underground crypt type caverns that are you can get there through the cellar of the Laughing Badger, and once a week or so you've got members of the Forkland Conclave who are meeting there and getting together with Bounty and Skinny and I believe Gloon, you know that these are taking place. I don't know that you actively participate, but you became friends with these people, and so you kind of gave them permission to and to do this under your watch and under your tavern. Bim, on the other hand, Bim has become a bit of an alcoholic in the last few months because the depression of having to abandon the hunt for Gizmo, along with just the realization that things are changing. The world is not this bright, beautiful, flashy place that he thought it was, and it's just all this shit that has gone down over the past 6 months has just been really heavy, man. Like, just it's a bummer, man, and it's been really weighing on Bim. I believe you said that one thing you had been doing was hunting. Was you were supplying food for the tavern and hides and so on and so forth. That was the only thing you were doing to keep yourself occupied. But apart from that, it was pretty much go out, hunt, come back, get drunk until they need you to hunt again, and just generally making yourself a sort of a drunken brownie nuisance because life is not what you thought it was out in the big wide world beyond your forests. Um, I believe that is the crash course version of where the players were and where they are now. And we can pick up our adventure in the Laughing Badger Tavern on a it's been about 6 months, so this would be a autumn. It would be probably let's say it's late October. Late October evening. The chill is in the air, breeze blowing in off the inner sea from the east, and you find yourselves around a roaring fire in the Laughing Badger, meeting up after a recent trip, Christmas. You just arrived with a new shipment of ingredients for Galoon to use in her brews, and in the meantime, you also completed delivery of some of the beer that she had sent you up. What the heck is the name of the northwestern? Whitecliff. Whitecliff is the next town up the coast that you had delivered things to, and you just got back. Um, there is a council meeting scheduled for tomorrow underneath with the conclave and to discuss matters. So you've got that's happening tomorrow. In the meantime, you're meeting up. It's been about a week, say, since Chrisma has been gone, running up the coast and coming back. She's back now. The tavern is here. The fire is roaring. A chill is in the air. You've got good brew, good food. Go.
We're all sitting around the fire.
I don't know. What are you doing? This is gonna be theater of the mind because I don't have an interior made yet for the tavern.
But we're all together, is
Yeah.
what I mean.
Okay. Yeah, we're in the main room.
Right. Is it a crowded inn or is it someplace we can talk?
Oh, it's a normal crowded space, but you guys have your own little table off in the corner that you can sit down and it's your place. So it can be it's whatever table you want. You're the boss, you're the owner. Clear out. You guys go over there. I need this table for 5 minutes.
Well, there's a meeting tomorrow, right?
Yes.
So I'd like to discuss us finding out maybe our group going down to the southwest. I've heard of where we could send people from here instead of hiding people, have a way out for them to get where they're fighting. What do you guys think?
What's it matter anyways?
Well,
I
we
think,
need to get these guys out of here.
I would say that's a fine idea. How long can we hide this operation before a guard or someone from the watch finds out and would completely ruin your establishment for one thing, and your certainly prison time or worse for most of us.
So
Mhm.
the
Well, it may also
current
be worth.
the current arrangement, by the way, since we're talking about this, would more than likely be. I hadn't thought about this until you just mentioned this. The current arrangement would be something along the lines of when they get an elven mage that comes through the underground. Um, there's a meeting that takes place, and then maybe they hold them in a building somewhere in town until they can get a transport out. Now, Chrisma has probably transported a few people out on boat, but because they don't always want to use the same method of transportation, we could say that maybe Chrisma, you have transported 5 or 6 of the rebels, yes, and maybe the other ones went with a farmer that you know from the east. Maybe Bim has a couple of hunter connections that they've got some cabins outside in the woods that they can sneak people out to. So there's been various ways, not a lot of stockpiling of people going on underneath the Laughing Badger per se, mostly just meetings taking place, and occasionally someone coming in, transitioning somewhere else, but not a holding
Mhm.
facility, if that makes
Oh,
sense.
that's
Mhm.
good.
Yeah, you
That's
wouldn't want
good.
to draw
Yeah.
attention there.
Yeah, no, they're staying. They've got cells throughout town where
Right.
people are staying until they can figure out a way to get them out safely.
Mm. Well, a lot of these mages would probably want to know how to help people that are stuck in camps from the church, I would think.
Yeah. Well, and
So
we
a way
also have
to.
to find out what's going on down there too. Like we've heard rumors of people fighting, so we need to find out how much,
Mm.
what's actually going on. Like, is this a couple of guys with a toothpick, or is it actually a thing that?
Toothpicks are very deadly. Thank you.
Yes. Well, exactly. Exactly. But not for humans. Brownies know how to use them. Because maybe we should be sending these people south. We need to rethink of where we're transporting people. Right now, we're spreading people all over the place where they could be better used elsewhere. So,
We'll need coin, I would assume, for the travel.
Hmm.
How far south have you heard that it is? How big of a journey will this be?
Oh, this is a good question. Let's um you guys have your world maps?
Yes.
You've had rumors, I gotta look at the map over here. You've heard rumors of disturbances down in the Marion Hills, all the way west along the Irian River, through the Riverlands, somewhere south. So that's like southeast of Forkland, just due south of Angloria, and all the way west, almost to the foothills of the Nilrhein Mountains, where the dwarves live. Basically, the entirety of the Riverlands. You've heard rumors of concentration camps being, located throughout there, and of rebel activities happening, um, skirmishes happening. The church has basically been expanding and setting up barracks and soldier checkpoints in all of these. They used to just be quiet little farming villages with 20 little buildings, maybe 10 families that live there, and then the church has been coming through and saying, okay, that that building over there, the tavern, that's now our headquarters. We're taking over, and we're gonna seize this establishment, and now it's ours. And they've established a garrison, and they've established 50 soldiers, and they're building makeshift tent chapels, and they're requiring that all of the people who live in that town attend church on a weekly basis, and anyone who doesn't is suspect immediately. It is a colonization movement, so to speak, happening throughout the Southlands.
and speaking of travel, it's going to be all over land, right?
Yes, there's
Yeah.
no way to get south by river at this point. You would be able to um, travel down river from Forkland because there's a river that dumps out into the sea a couple days ride south of Forkland that goes up to the man, I don't have it on the map. I can't remember the name of that lake, that giant lake. But that would only get you so
Oh,
far because you still have to go southwest from there. So really, the best option would be to, for example, you could
just hit
travel
the
south.
road.
Yeah, you could travel south by road, or you could take the boat south along the coastline. and get off somewhere southeast, but before you got to Angloria. There's a lot of ways that you could get south if you truly wanted to go in that direction.
Well, Galoon, you have a relationship with Fairlane, just south of here, in the
Oh, yeah.
stables.
She's good. She's a good friend of
Perhaps
mine. Just
think we
don't go
could
near
work out
that.
some horses.
Possibly, I could see she'd either give us a good price for sure, or maybe better. We'll see. I don't know what she has right now handy for how many of us? Six of
Okay.
us.
As you're talking, there's some bustling at the front of the inn, and 3 soldiers march their way in. It is a Templar, along with 2 paladins, splendid white robes with the Church of the Elder Ways emblazoned on the shoulders of their breastplate and also on the back of the cloak. And they walk in, and this man, you've seen him before. Let's see. Everybody roll what would this be? I have to look at somebody's character sheet real quick to figure out what the roll would be. Let's just do insight. Everybody roll insight if you remember who he is.
Or bounty code.
Bounty forgot completely who this guy was.
Who's that woman that just came in? Oh,
Is
wait,
that guy a human or maybe he kind of looks like a halfling to me?
I drank too much.
Moira's gonna be really like, she's very welcoming. She knows how to schmooze and make everybody calm, and unlike me, who's more feisty picking a fight.
Thamius.
Ooh, nice,
Thamius.
Chris.
Yeah, Thamius and Chrisma know who this is. This is Lord Oberon, and if you look on the map to the southeast of where you are, there is a place called Lord Oberon's Manor.
Okay.
He is a very wealthy nobleman who, Thamius, you would know this. Before the church came here, he was not a very devout member, but because he has money, once it became clear that the church had taken over and was becoming the new political power, he basically bought his way into a position as an elder within the local branch of the church. So he's now become an elderman
Nice.
for the Temple of Light, and he is a very well-to-do individual who has his family's been here for generations. He basically owns where his house is right there on the southeastern side of the map. He owns all the farmlands north, and all that land up to the coastline, and several of the buildings around his manor. But his family's been here for a while. He is a very well-to-do guy. He's not necessarily been known to be anti-Fae, but he's also very mercenary in the sense that he never had political aspirations until the tides changed and suddenly he's like, oh well, I want to become somebody important and maybe this is my chance. So that's the impression you have of him, as he based on what you've heard. Now you've never had any direct dealings with the man. Chrisma, you know him because you have actually worked with his people. You have transported grain, wheat, trigo, the north to Whitecliff for Lord Oberon. He walks through the door, looks around. He's got a bit of a smirk on his face, and he walks up to the bar and stands there, sort of looking around for a moment, as if expecting something to appear out of thin air. When nothing happens, he's going to turn around, look across the inn. Is anybody going to serve me a drink in this establishment?
Yeah, Moira would have gone up to him and welcomed him in and asked him if
Perfect.
he wanted something to drink.
Perfect.
I would have
I
leaned
see.
in, by the way, as he was walking and everything. I would have leaned in, being that I knew who he was, and I would have lowly said, "It's Lord Oberon, the man who has bought his way into the corrupt church."
Hmm.
Just so everybody was on the page of who he was.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Myra's offered him a drink. Thank you very
Mhm.
much, young lady. How goes it this evening?
Oh, do I have to act for Myra?
I think you do. I think you do. I think you do. It's your worker. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, everything's going well. Business is good as usual.
It
What
appears
brings you
so.
to our establishment today?
I'm looking for some extra hands. You wouldn't happen to know of anyone looking for work, would you?
No, but maybe down at the docks would be a good place to find out.
I'm not looking for mere dock workers, you see. I need someone with skill, someone with talent, someone who knows how to wield a blade, and also to keep their eyes open and their mouths, well, not necessarily shut, but discreet.
Do
You wouldn't
we
happen to
hear
know.
this?
Roll perceptions. Roll for perception. Oh, Bim heard it.
Alan, you
Skinny,
say?
Skinny heard it. Damien, yeah, oh yeah, multiple.
Okay.
You guys are paying attention because he's a big wig.
Yeah.
He came in,
Yeah.
and so yeah, ears are perked up. You've definitely caught. You're sitting close enough to the bar that you can hear this conversation happening.
Yeah, I would lean in definitely to the group and be like, "Hey, could be our opportunity to make some money. We need some coin for the road."
But also to get good faction with him, and maybe that way we won't stand out as targets.
That's a good point. Yes, he holds a lot of weight now, being a bought-in elder of the church. Wouldn't hurt to be in his graces.
It would probably be good to be on his good side.
Yeah, but if he's part of the church, he's not to be trusted.
No, not to be trusted, but we definitely need to figure out how to make some kind of political allies that could throw in a good word.
So
Keep your enemies
Galoon,
closer.
okay, Galoon will kind of say out loud, "If you want helping hands, you can go across the street to the Pristine Paramore. I hear they have them there."
He's gonna turn around and raise an eye. He knows who
boy.
you are, by the way, so he's gonna turn around and raise an eyebrow. He says, "My dear, when I need a pair of skilled hands, I'm afraid I cannot work with such low quality as attend the Pristine Paramore. I have
True.
quite a different taste, but I do appreciate you looking out for me."
Oh,
Indeed.
I would like to stand up and say, Lord Oberon, me and my compatriots know our way around the sword. We could certainly be of help. What do you need?
By the way, are you still wearing your church
No,
attire?
absolutely not.
Okay.
I have ditched that when I got here, and because I didn't want to be with the as soon as I realized the atmosphere, and I know I'm from Prathana, and Prathana shouldn't exist, and nobody should have escaped from there. They went way out of their way to make sure no one did. I ditched that. I'm just wearing regular mercenary-looking clothes.
Okay. And yes, Hemvar, I'm definitely consulting the map on the wall. That's the easiest frame of reference for me. But the downside is that because I created that map so long ago, there are things that I've written into the book that are not on the map. So I'm like I gave a name to that lake right there where my finger is, and I don't remember what the name of the lake is. Like it's in chapter. It's when they're traveling south, trying to find their way to the dwarven town, back in like chapter 19 or 20, and don't remember. I need to update the map. Any case, so you're offering your services to Oberon. He's going to look over your group with a discerning eye, and you're going to catch. Let's see. Yeah, you guys have already seen this. So, he's going to glance over your group, and his eyes are going to linger for a minute over Chrisma. Um, Hard to tell why they lingered, but his eyes linger on Chrisma for longer than anyone else, and they skim over Bim very quickly, almost as if Bim doesn't exist.
Oh,
It's but that's just the glance that he gives your group. He's gonna nod his head very short, curtly. Do you have a more private place where we might speak?
Certainly. Come this way. We'll go to like a room.
Speaking is thirsty business, my good lord.
I'm sure I would be happy to accommodate. I'll take a
Oh.
round of whatever is your finest.
Moira?
It's
Bring everybody around. 'cause-
Myra, my dear.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Bring us whatever is your taste preferred, Sir Bim.
Alright. There'll be like a little, not a conference room, but a
Yeah,
room
sure.
where we can talk.
Ah, a nice little. Let's call it. It could be like a private room where, like a dining room, like
Mhm.
restaurants have, where you can go in. It's a
Party or
private
something.
room you could get, and
Yeah.
you can go in and shut the doors and locked off.
Are
Okay.
the two with him? Are they acting as guards or are they acting as like almost companions, like friends?
They're guards for sure.
They're
They
strictly
are,
guards. Okay.
yeah, they haven't said a word. They're very muscular,
Yeah.
burly, flat-faced. You
A
know,
step behind kind of thing.
yeah, they're definitely
Standing everywhere.
bodyguards.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah. They take up position on either side of the door on the outside as you
Right.
enter into the room, and then the doors can close behind you. Ah, perfect. Ah, now, whom of you might be the one in charge that I should address? Might I get to know your names? You, I believe I know you. You are, if I'm not mistaken, is it Galeen, perhaps?
Galoon.
Galoon,
It's Galoon,
the
and this is
owner.
my establishment.
Ah, yes, I do. I am familiar with this place. I believe you bought it from Berlin some 30 years ago, no?
Oh, 35, yeah.
Oh, 35 years. Time flies. I was a much younger man then, but thankfully I've managed to keep myself in shape. But he pats his stomach. He is in very good shape. He's probably mid 50s. Definitely mid 50s, very good shape, handsome looking fellow, clean shaven. Um, so, which of you might be the leader, perchance?
Well,
We
I'm
all
a
speak
leader
for
in
ourselves.
here, but
Yeah.
I'm not the
We all
leader of
speak
the
for
group.
ourselves in terms of authorities.
So I should address you all then. Fair enough. Fair
Mhm.
enough. I
I'm
have.
the leader. Come on now, boys.
Uh, you seem to be enjoying your spirits, young halfling. Brownie, sorry. You don't want to say to me.
I get a chuckle out of that.
All right, he's gonna double check that the doors are closed, and he's going to sit down at one of the tables, one of the chairs, and kind of lean forward over the table and lower his voice a little bit. Um, I have a bit of an issue that requires a discreet pair of hands. My daughter has gone missing these 3 days past. I suspect I know where she has gone, but I don't want to act in haste. Do you think you would possibly be available for a little bit of reconnaissance and tracking her down?
Is this an older daughter who maybe found a young man she's interested in or
I
something?
suspect that there could be something of the like going on, but I don't want to jump to any conclusions. She has been rather. And he's going to pause for a moment, sigh heavily. I cannot say that I myself necessarily agree with the decision, but some things are out of my hands, as I'm sure you're aware when it comes to dealing with any nobility and politics. Occasionally, we all have to make sacrifices for the greater good, and one of the sacrifices my family has been asked to make is for my daughter to marry one of the clergymen from the church. She, of course, has no desire to marry this man, and had I my say in the matter, I would let her choose. But unfortunately, the world being the way it is, that decision has been taken out of my hands. I thought that we had come to an agreement, but 3 days ago she disappeared. Now, the man that she has been dallying with, shall we say, is let's just say his pedigree is it leaves a bit wanting. I don't necessarily suspect foul play, but he's a bit of a ruffian, a sailor type. Um, no offense to any of you who might be sailors, and his eyes kind of glance back towards Chrisma for a moment, and then comes back to the table.
Hmm.
But
So is he a sea elf then?
heritage. You have cut to the heart of the chase.
I tend to.
It's a delicate situation were the church to find out, there could be repercussions for my family. Um, I would like this taken care of in a uh, as smoothly as possible. I don't want any harm to come to the boy, but I need my daughter returned to ensure her safety and to ensure the safety of this youth that she has fallen in love with. What
How
say you?
old is she?
Well, I. It's impossible to tell the elves, is it not?
No. How old
Your
is your
daughter.
daughter?
Oh, my daughter, 23.
She's an adult.
Yes.
Are you suggesting, good lord, that we take violence against him? Is he one known for
No, 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 no,
breakings
no.
of the law?
No. Simply that he is a. I'm trying to be delicate here with my words. I don't want to offend anyone. He is but a seaman on a ship, and the political situation being what it is, she has been um, she's scheduled to marry someone of a much loftier standards, and I cannot have this scandal affecting my family, my daughter, or any of our or of our immediate um, connections. I don't want any bloodshed. I don't want any harm to come to the boy. I just need the understanding to be made that she needs to come home, and he needs to look elsewhere for companionship.
How much force are you expecting us to exert?
Or
Or
need to.
none at all if you don't require it.
But I'm saying if we ask her to come and she says no, what are we to do then?
Well, young women can be stubborn sometimes. I would say that if you need be to grab her by the hand and drag her back, I would not be against that.
And what if when she is returned to you? What means do you have to keep her from not leaving once again when opportunity strikes?
If the young man in question, or the young elf in question, I should say, is persuaded to no longer return to this port of harbor, then she will have no reason to continue the affair.
I see. So we should convince him to leave, and therefore solving the issue of your daughter and he, I believe you called it dallying together.
Well, they're definitely spending a lot of time together, and youth being youth, you know what they are like.
Indeed.
And
Where was
has this been going on a long time, or is this a more recent development?
It's a more recent development. Honestly, I wasn't even really aware of it until the marriage had been arranged, and suddenly I was made aware that there was already someone in her life, and I am not sure for how long it has been going on. She said several months, but I don't know exactly what that
Do
means.
you think the sea elf is truly like in love with her and interested, or do you think a bag of gold would easily change his
That
mind?
was going to be my next question.
That would be out of my. That's why I'm hiring someone like you to find that information out for me.
So
Well,
you haven't made any
can we
offers or any
can we
connections?
bribe him so that he can maybe disappear?
That's entirely up to you. Should you come
would,
upon him.
would you be willing to give us some gold that we could bribe him with, Lord? We do not have the mass wealth that you have
Well,
attained.
we can certainly discuss compensation, but until such time as we know whether or not a bribe is the right option, I would prefer to keep uh,
Of course.
such matters till a later point in time.
Where could we find? Where do you think we might find? Where does he hang out? Or does he have a place he
Last I knew
resides?
of, down in the docks, probably at some of the taverns along the wharf. His vessel, I've been led to know, is called the. I gotta come up with a name now. All of a sudden.
The Golden Spear.
Let's
And
call
his
it.
name.
Let's the Golden Spear. Let's call it.
The rusty bucket.
The Rusty Bucket. No. I totally should have come up with a name before, and I farted on this one. Brain farted on this one. Let's call it the speckled albatross is what the vessel is called.
Okay.
It's a sea elf vessel.
And what is this young man's name or young elf's name?
His name is Liaf. Liaf, Liaf, Liaf.
All right. Well, we will investigate. And where might we
What-
meet you? Where do you wish head to your manor?
You can find me at my manor whenever you have more information. Just speak with the guards at the gate. They'll be happy to accommodate you and guide you to my chambers, to my office.
Is there a keyword or phrase we should let them know
No,
that
just let them know
Okay.
that you're there to see me.
they will?
They'll know to be
Be
on the lookout.
expecting us.
Yes, they'll
Okay.
know to be on the lookout for you.
And what about operating expenses? You know, hunters need lubricated limbs, and this sounds like it will require much lubrication.
I see. Well, I am certainly amenable to a certain upfront expense to accommodate you. There appear to be 6 of you. Why don't we say 200 gold now and 400 gold upon completion of the task?
Sounds excellent.
Now, is it excellent? I mean, we wouldn't know, like, with the economy of this world, is that
You're gonna try to bargain?
we
That's
go
quite a
on
bit of
rates or
gold.
something?
No,
That's
this
a pretty
is-
good. That's a pretty good amount of gold.
It's a
I'm
very
pretty
good. It's a very good amount of gold. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a chunk.
sure. Yeah.
All right.
What's the going
Fair
rate
enough.
for bringing a daughter back?
Priceless,
Well,
depending on
no,
the
being
father.
a
yeah.
hired hand, possible, violence, killing a bunch of sailors. I mean,
Mhm.
this may
Man,
not
you're going to
exactly go easy.
Going to the dark place.
Oh, I'm
Well-
I'm not forcing this girl to come back. No way. No.
Yeah.
We'll see if
Hopefully, you're
I
saying
know.
this out of character.
yes, out of character.
Offered to pay us
Yes.
a lot of gold.
no way. No, that was not in character.
Yeah, we definitely have to
Okay.
interview the couple and see
Investigate.
what's going on.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying this out loud. I'm kind of.
Yeah.
But-
This is what we'll
I mean,
discuss.
Okay, Lord.
400
Yeah, right.
gold upon delivery, guys.
Right. But 200 up front, right?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
He's
So we
going.
can use that as a bribe, maybe.
Yeah, he's going to reach into his under his perch. He's going to pull up a purse, and he's going to weigh it out a little bit. Take some coins out, put it in the purse, and then throw it down on the table. This should be enough to get you started.
Indeed, we'll begin
Indeed.
right away.
Yep, we'll go investigate.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's almost. That's pretty much what 33.
Yeah, I'll add it to the
Yeah,
thing
right.
here in a second.
Yeah, 33 gold apiece.
All right. I guess we can kind of
Also,
pack up and go.
yeah, my daughter's name is
Mhm.
Tila.
Tila
TILA.
Mhm.
and Leaf sitting in a boat.
So are we divvying up that 200 gold? Is that what we're doing?
I will in a minute. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, Leaf, is
So
he
I don't need to add it.
No, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it here in a second. Just gotta go.
Now
in
this
here.
this Leaf, is he the captain of the boat? Is he just a crew member?
He's just a crew member. As far as I'm aware, he's just a crew member.
Okay. Alrighty.
Alright.
And the boat, do you know if the boat is often in port? Is it often out? Like,
Oh,
what do these
I
guys
don't
do?
frequent the docks. I would have.
Alright.
That's why I'm paying you.
How often does your daughter disappear on you?
This is the first time this has ever happened.
Okay.
All right, I think we should head there and investigate, see what's going on. What time of day is it right now, Rempo?
It was late afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, maybe
So we're
we have
doing
enough time maybe to get
200
there and-
gold, and we're gonna do. Okay, that should automatically have divvied it out across everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Good Sparrow. How's my tab looking?
How is his tab, Galoon?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Um, His tab it would be paid off by the end of each day at this point.
Oh
Ah.
man, pay as you go. Oh no.
We started an open tab, and when I saw where that was going, I told
Cut
him we
it
have to
out.
settle. We gotta
Oh,
settle.
I think he's been working delivering you
Yeah.
meat.
He's been
He's been
hunting.
working
and-
delivering, and
good.
yeah.
That may
Glad
have
we're
been how it
current.
started
That's
off.
good.
It may have started off where he was spinning and then he ran out of gold and then he started running up a tab, and by the time he got to the point where he was borrowing the tab, he was starting to drink way more than he had.
Right.
And suddenly we're like, oh my god, he's drinking like a dwarven miner. You know, he's racking up 500 gold a month in brew tabs. Yeah, you need to start hunting for your meat, buddy. Pay for your keep.
Yeah. He brings
Cool.
home good
That works.
good
Good.
hunting meat.
Brings home the bacon.
Yeah.
Myra is your cousin. Is what you said.
Yes.
Myra, the dwarven cousin,
And she's not rough and gruff like I am. She's
runs
civil.
the laughing badger. She is
She's the manager.
What would you give her? What personality would you give her?
Very welcoming, like a business owner, just happy to have people come in and be happy, and
Great customer service.
customer service. Yeah.
5-star.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 All right. So he pays you, bids you all farewell, makes his way out with his 2 guards. As they are making their way out of the tavern, there's a bit of a commotion. There is a dwarf, a pair of dwarves sitting by the door, as this guy's making his way out. And as they make their way out, one of them, they're a little bit drunk, hacks up a chunk and
Oh no.
spits it on
Ew.
the guy's boots. Get your bloody church faces out of mine. And immediately, Lord Oberon is going to look down and pause in disgust. And as he does this, his 2 bodyguards are going to jump into action, and they're going to grab this dwarf and slam him up against the wall, while the other dwarf just kind of looks on in shock.
He has it coming.
I'd like to, unless you got more.
No, I'm just
All that-
rolling.
Okay. I'd like to. I'm not like going to get in their way, but I'm going to step, close enough to where they can obviously hear me. I'm going to say, sir, if you don't mind, Galoon can take care of this and make sure he leaves. He's but drunk.
Go ahead and roll a persuasion roll, Nathan.
Old habits die hard. The paladin's coming out. Keeping the peace.
Keeping the peace with a 15. I'm gonna roll a 6 here.
Ooh.
Nice.
Lord Oberon's gonna frown, glance down at you. Well, it would be unfortunate to ruin our business operations and our brand new arrangement with violence so soon. Very well, men, let him down. As a matter of fact, have another drink on me, Sir Dwarf. And he's gonna reach into his pocket and throw a few gold coins on the table, and just walk out and ignore what just happened. Meanwhile, dwarves are gonna grab the gold. One of them grumbling under his breath, "Having a goddamn church, and they think they can buy me off." Ah, can I have another ale over here? Another ale, please.
Way to go, Thamius. We almost had dinner and a show.
I'll tell Moira to water this one down. He's had enough.
Okay. Everybody roll a
What
perception
you've been
roll
doing.
real quick.
A which?
Perception roll.
Perception. I'll be
Skinny,
damned.
skinny.
I'm
Oh
pretty-
my God, Bim,
Damn,
you're
I'm pretty
good.
perceptive.
Pretty perceptive when
No
you're
doubt.
drunk.
Me too. Dang.
Oh my God!
Oh,
All
big
right,
day.
fair enough. All right,
Whoa.
Big
fair
day.
enough.
Beer goggles.
Beer goggles for the win. Crispin rolled pretty good too. So,
Yeah.
Bounty and Galoon didn't catch anything, but everybody else. As this was happening, there was um, a figure seated near the dwarves' table, and as this went down, um, he kind of moved a little bit out of the way. As he did this, only two of you see this part of it. The rest of you just saw a person kind of moving out of the way. Um, his back's turned to you, so you don't get a glimpse of his face yet. Him or her, it's just the back of a head, long hair. Um, and but Bim and Thamius, as this happened, like as this was going down, the you caught this individual making some hand gestures towards the dwarf's table. Um, Bim, roll a 6, please. Okay. You felt a tingle of something, tingle of elemental magic at play. Not enough for you to know. You saw this person do something with their hands towards the dwarven table as Lord Oberon was passing by. Then they spit on the guy's foot, and that person then backed up and kind of scooted their chair back a little out of the way, almost as if perhaps they maybe did something to cause the dwarves to do that in the
Sure.
first place.
I'm gonna get very close to Thamius and be like, "Did you see that?"
I did, but I'm
You
not
didn't
sure
get
I'm
the
following.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
Thamius.
not sure I'm following.
You
what,
saw the
what...
hand gesture, but you didn't catch. You know,
Yeah.
it was elemental magic.
Man, I'm telling you, I felt something. It could be the ale, but I think that person is up to something.
I think it may be the L, but we could certainly go talk to the gentleman if you'd like, or Mrs. I can't tell from here.
I think we should question him.
All right, let's do it. So me and Ben, we're not
You
we're
and
not
Ben.
like marching up like we're ready for war, but we'd like to like approach and just maybe casually. How's it going this evening, gentlemen? Or well, I guess after I see him and I know if it's a man or a woman actually.
Um,
Sure.
the person
Look
that
at it.
turns to face you is going to turn with sort of a wide-eyed, innocent look on their face. Um, it's hard to tell if this is a male or a female. It's a very androgynous face, um, long hair. Um, can't get a glimpse of the ears yet, but the face is definitely reminiscent of an elf. Um, uh, very elfish in any case. The features. The voice is definitely male as it comes out. Can I help you?
What's with the hand gestures and the funny businessman?
Hand
And I'd
gestures.
like to say lowly, not saying a low voice right after he says that. We're not here to report you. We just want to make sure there's nothing nefarious happening in our friend's establishment.
Hand gestures and funny business. My friend Halfling, how much have you had to drink? And you, good sir? If I had to guess, a soldier of some type? How much have you had to
Mercenary.
drink?
Mercenary, my
Mercenary,
friend has had a lot to. He has a lot to drink, admittedly. We just wanted to make sure this is our friend's establishment. We just didn't want any trouble.
No trouble here. I'm just a friendly traveler enjoying a drink for the evening. Would you like to join me for one?
Oh no.
You can't say no.
Ma'am,
Free
don't do it.
beer?
Somebody offered you a free.
I
Free
think
treat.
I think we must be on our way, Bim. We have business to attend to.
Oh, business could wait, couldn't it?
All right.
For one.
I need both of you to roll let's make this a wisdom saving throw.
Oh Lord. Okay. I'm not known for my being wise.
Wisdom.
Saving throw, right?
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah, that
Oh,
tracks.
well, okay. So Thamius, you're like,
Thamius is good.
I'm ready to go. Let's go. Bim, on the other hand, feels an overwhelming urge that you need to sit down and stay and drink with this fellow. Like this is a compelling urge like you've never felt before.
Oh no, he's Jedi mind tricking me.
Yeah.
Chill.
You need to sit down and have a drink with this man. This guy is like the coolest guy you've ever seen, and it's just you're fascinated. So you're no ifs, ands, or buts. You are sitting down and having a drink. You are a happy, happy, happy little brownie right now.
Except
to
we're
be honest-
leaving.
and
We
to
can
be
drag
honest,
him out.
And to be honest, based on Bim's behavior lately, I wouldn't realize anything. I would just assume this is
Oh,
Bim being
great.
Bim. So I would kind of roll my eyes and
Hmm.
go back to the rest of the group. But I would be watching because I don't trust the person
Okay.
there.
But we were leaving anyway, so we could all kind of just gang up on Bim and drag the little brownie
Yeah, I would
out.
go and tell everyone Bim's at it again. He's
Mhm.
found a new drinking buddy.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't know if we were leaving though, right? Because I mean, we got to figure out what
Yeah.
we're gonna do. Like, we're not just
Well,
going to march.
We were
down
gonna
to
go down to
dock
the
and take them
docks.
with us.
no, but
We
I
have
know,
to
we
talk
gotta
to
do
them.
we got to talk to them. And
Yeah.
we're right by the docks.
Well, you're close to the docks, but it's also
Right.
at
Yeah.
night. You don't know you don't know what you're looking
Right.
for yet. Tomorrow
No.
morning, there's a meeting underneath the tavern.
Oh, I thought it was
Um,
afternoon.
Late afternoon. It's gonna take
Mm-hmm.
you a few hours to get to the docks, and then after that, you have to search. You don't know where the ship is. You don't know which tavern the guy's in. You're gonna have to ask around. It's not gonna be as simple as just going to the docks. You're there, boom,
Right.
and
We don't even know if the dock's in town or the
right.
boat's
You
in
don't even know
town.
if the boat's in town yet. You're gonna have
Yeah.
to make your way to the harbor master and check to see if the boat's docked. Then if it is there, you need to search the local taverns where he might be at. I mean, you can assume that he's in town because the girl ran off.
Right.
But the boat could have shipped out. She could be on the ship. Like, there's a lot of variables
Right.
at play.
That's what I thought we were doing, is check that stuff out.
Mhm.
We're not going today.
I'm just establishing the timeline of where you guys are at. So if that's what you want to do, you can. Meanwhile, Bim is being seduced by a stranger at a table.
Man,
What do you
he's
guys
got
want to do?
he's got beautiful eyes. He's got beautiful eyes. I'm just saying.
Well, I think we could at very least make a trip to the docks, see if the ship is there, and maybe if there's workers there, we could see if it's setting sail anytime soon. I doubt we can get much done this late in the day, but we could at least establish if it's here or not, and go from there. Have a better plan for tomorrow.
I think maybe split up too. Like, just a couple of us stay together and check it out rather than going as a party. Might draw a little less attention before we figure out how to approach it. So just to at least find out where it is, if it's in town, what's going on. Now, I guess by this point we know Bim's stuck there. Oh, I guess Thamius is back, so he would have said something.
Yeah, I told you guys that he
Yeah.
had found a new drinking buddy. Yeah.
But
Well, perhaps
that's
we could
all.
let Bim enjoy his time, and a few of us could head out to the docks real quick and, just see if we can find the boat or any kind of clues, and probably not much, but something to go off of for tomorrow.
Now, did you say? But you mentioned magic. You mentioned that Bim said he felt a tingle or something.
Well, he just said he thought there was funny business, which gave me the impression that maybe he sensed something, but he didn't necessarily say that. And Bim's been drinking a lot, so I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't necessarily.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, there wouldn't be
That's-
anything really suspicious about this. It's Bim's
Yeah.
like, ooh, a drinking buddy. Yeah.
It feels pretty
no, if-
normal to me.
If magic's involved, though, shouldn't we be trying to get this guy out of here? Like, isn't that? Like,
Well,
that's what I'm thinking.
there's Fae all throughout. I mean,
But
well,
he's
like-
elven and a wizard. Like, elven with magic.
yeah,
Maybe,
but
thinking
you're
of getting
asking Thamius. Thamius felt nothing.
I don't know.
Bim's
Yeah, I
always
don't know.
drunk.
No, but I thought Bim mentioned it. Yeah. Okay.
No,
that's
Bim didn't. He just said a funny business.
Okay.
I assumed that he might have maybe sensed
Yeah, I
something.
think it would
but,
be. I think it would be a stretch to assume that
Yeah.
you knew it was magic at play. It was mostly just Bim's feeling the
I
tingles
could've even-
again.
especially since
Yeah, I was gonna say.
since I would personally think that I would have felt it too, and I didn't. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
It's Bim just being Bim, and he's drunk.
it's Bim,
Right.
Yeah, he's
Even it-
drunk, yeah.
Even if I would have straight up said I felt magic, I don't think Thamus would have bought it. You know.
No, I wouldn't
yeah,
have
yeah.
because I didn't feel it. and
Yeah,
he
what
is
you
drunk.
felt was 6 different ales,
Right.
human
you felt
sized tank, human-sized tankards.
Yeah, the same kind of magic you find at the Pristine Paramore, perhaps.
Right.
Now, the question is,
They
do
won't
have...
let me in there anymore.
He wore out his welcome. There was a night when maybe,
Infested with brownies.
yeah, I'm reminded of Willow, that scene. Where'd they break in?
Yeah.
What a breed! And then it's just like the halflings. Halflings! It's like, no! Brownies! Brownies!
Oh man.
There may or may not have been an incident. There was a drunk halfling screaming, "What's you go, brownie? You never go downy!" All right, so Bim is with his drinking buddy. So the rest of you are wanting to go to the docks and explore, right?
Ask around. Yeah,
Yeah.
see if that boat has been docked anytime soon.
Yeah, look for
Anyone
some
even
workers.
knows Leaf?
We're not planning a long visit to the docks, just a
Yeah,
slight
see if
investigation, and we can get back to
speckled-
turn in.
Yeah, speckled
Something we can make a
albatross.
plan. Yeah, hopefully have something to go off of for tomorrow.
Okay. The dock masters will be closed by the time you get there. It's going to take you about 3 hours to get from where you are across to the dockmaster, but you could definitely, if you wanted to. I mean, I don't know exactly what your plan is here to ask around. Are you
Yeah.
planning on
Any-
ducking into some of the taverns? How exactly do you want to go about this?
Well, I was thinking, I don't know about everybody else, I was thinking about just looking for some workers, ask them if they've seen the boat or if they know anything about it, where it typically docks, and that's pretty much all I figured we could get out of tonight.
Okay. Well, if you guys want to make your way in that direction,
Galoon, before we go, we're
Mhm.
talking about we'll be approaching. No offense, Charisma, but we'll be approaching people of the sea. They're known for enjoying a stout drink. Is there anything we could possibly bring from your establishment? Maybe we could coerce more information from the workers.
I'm sure. I know Chrisma likes to take a certain stash with us or with her on the ship to keep her workers happy. So I can see if there's any more
Ah.
left of that.
you have special beer that you give your crew. We're gonna have to come up with how many people are on your crew too, Chris. Like how many people how many crew members do you have on your ship?
Maybe
Probably about,
5, 4,
yeah, maybe 10. Like probably 10. Like 10
10.
is enough for a boat of that
Okay,
size. Um,
okay.
Grab a
10
small
people.
cask of that.
Wait a second, Charisma, being a ship owner and at the docks herself, may have heard of this boat or
oh,
know who to talk to.
yes, Chrisma, you have heard of the boat. You have heard of this. What did we call it? The speckled
Albatross.
speckled.
Yeah, we could just talk to Chrisma.
albatross.
Charisma would know better than some
I-
random worker.
Not necessarily. The workers unload and load ships all day long. So they've probably worked with several ships multiple times. Chrisma may have heard of the ship, but whether or not she knows any intimate details about the ship is another question. So first,
Right.
Chris, roll an insight roll. Have you heard of the speckled albatross?
Mm-hmm.
And what is that in Spanish? Actually, I'm really curious about what that would be.
¿Cuál?
El albatros moteado.
El albatros moteado.
Es un
El
pájaro, pero
Yeah.
es un nombre de un barco.
Ajá.
In Elfo. So the speckled albatross. She has heard of the ship. You have heard of the ship. But you can't remember what it looks like. You don't know. The name sounds familiar. That's about
Maybe
all she
it was a
knows.
long time.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got a small cask. Let's head that way and see what we can learn, and then we'll turn in.
Is somebody carrying the cask, or how are you guys
I
taking
would.
this
It's a
cask?
small. It's a small cask.
So you're saying
not
like a
not full
like a
size.
little 10-pound,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
And I could carry it.
couple gallons. Okay.
Yeah, I would
Exactly.
offer to carry it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. You guys walk for about an hour and a half. Get to the edge of the docks.
Or I could ask Fairlane if we could use a small wagon. Just to head down there.
You can.
It's but 10 pounds. I've got this.
No, I meant just to make it quicker.
Oh.
She's got a wagon you could borrow. Not a
Okay.
problem. Not a problem. Here you go. It's a little one cart thing, but it should be more than sufficient to help you out.
Perfect. Thank you, Fairlane. I'll have it back in a couple hours.
Okay. You're gonna
Thank you,
owe me
Lady
one.
Fairlane.
Don't forget.
Always, always.
All right,
Gotta
but she
carry
does
the
have a
cask.
little one horse cart that you guys can mosey on over there with. Okay.
So cut down travel time a little bit.
Yeah, let's get about an hour.
Okay.
Cool.
You make your way over to that first dock, so you can see Christina's ship, the Silver Trident, is docked.
Mhm.
A couple of the workers see you as you get to the edge of the dock, Chris, and they salute you. And you hear off in the distance, "Hi, Captain. Hope you're having a good night. Everything's good here. Got everything battened down, lady."
Definitely let Chris do all the talking for the.
It's like Chris ask her men, I guess.
Yep.
Ah.
Albatros motiato.
Sorry, I don't understand
No, it's
the.
okay.
Sorry.
Lo quieren usted preguntando a sus hombres si saben
Ajá.
si este barco está aquí o no. Y si los
O
ven o
si
no.
lo han visto, si
Ujú,
lo
ujú,
conocen.
ujú.
Ya.
Entonces tú puedes preguntar en inglés por las personas.
um, to my people, I need to say hi. I want to ask you if you know if you or have you heard about the ¿cómo se llama?
Speckled albatross.
Speckled
These are
albatross.
new fun words tonight.
For
Right.
real.
Albatross. Yeah,
Speckled albatross. Speckled
yeah.
albatross. Speckled albatross. I think the speckled albatross docked 2 days ago, milady. Over there to the west, and they're gonna point over to the not west. Sorry, I'm looking at the map wrong. To the north, milady, because I forgot this is an eastern facing harbor. So they're gonna point to the north. Can I ping the map, Nathan, or no?
Okay,
You
they
can. You
know.
can draw on it if that helps.
Well, I was gonna just ping it, but let me drawing, enter drawing mode. That dock right there
Okay.
Mhm.
is where they pointed.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
But that was 2 days ago. She's been missing 3 days. This doesn't look good, guys.
No, it just docked 2 days ago.
Oh, I thought that they saw it 2 days ago.
No, it's still here, right?
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
boat's
they
still
didn't
here.
say it left. They said
Okay.
it docked.
Gotcha. I
Yeah, it's still here.
misheard.
And to make it easy, Chris, also remember that some of your crew are human, but some of them are elves.
Right.
So we can also, as you're leaving, one of them can ask you in Elfish to make this easier for you. Si
Mhm.
necesitas ayuda, mi señora, avísanos, porque
Mhm.
estos hombres pueden ser malditos. A veces tú sabes, ¿cómo se llama? Sailors.
Marineros.
Los marineros pueden ser
Yeah.
malos a veces.
Mhm.
Entonces, cuídese mucho, señora.
Okay.
I love how we use Spanish for Elvish, so anybody who
Mhm.
It's
speaks
awesome.
Spanish.
Also speaks Elvish.
Mhm.
Elvish in our world is Spanish.
I love it.
All
Okay,
right,
so
so I
that's
guess
what
we're
you know.
we just
Cool.
want
Yeah.
to at
We will
least head
leave.
up there and look and see if we can
Yeah.
See
see
if
if they
it's
got
there
some
still.
men working on the ship or anything.
It'd take
Too
about
bad the
another. Go ahead.
It's too bad the dockmaster is closed because we could talk to him about trying to keep the ship here and maybe give him a little,
Mm.
incentive to make sure the ship stays
Yeah,
till tomorrow.
it's about 8 o'clock at night at this point, so it
Mm.
closes around 7, and they'll open up around 6 in the morning. They close 6 or 7, and so anybody who docks at night, which doesn't happen very often because they usually keep a tight schedule and
Mhm.
things, if they do get anybody that docks at night, they have to wait till the next morning to, if they do let them dock at all, they have to wait till the morning to go to the dockmaster. In any case, yeah, it'll be about a 30-minute trip over to the other dock. There are 2 ships there when you arrive.
Well,
Neither
I was
one
actually
of
thinking of, I was going to say real quick, I was thinking of hanging out and checking out the dockmasters a little bit later anyway. So
Okay.
Mm.
uh,
So you're
I
gonna
can find
stay.
out. Yeah, I can find out if there's a schedule of when it's supposed to leave or not.
There's 2 ships docked. Neither one of them are the speckled albatross.
Mm.
Okay.
Well,
That's no good.
I believe we may have to come back in
Yeah.
the morning then and talk to the dockmaster and see if we can't find out. Now,
Yeah.
remember, we can't, although it seems it would help us, we should probably not bring up Lord Oberon's name. He did
Mm-mm.
ask us to be discreet.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see if we can't get the information without using his name.
Yeah, it'd probably be easier to just look for Leof and
Yes, indeed. And
yeah.
I think the dockmaster would be the best place to start to see if he might know where he hangs out or where he typically goes, what tavern he frequents, or that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, we could get an early night at the back at the Badger and try to get out here early.
Do we see any dock workers around?
Sure. It's
I'd like
they're ending up their ship, but there's a few guys that are stacking boxes. It's not as busy as it would be during the daytime, but there's still a few people
Sure.
hanging around doing
A
some
few.
work.
Yeah, I'd like to at least approach them and ask if they have heard or seen Leaf around.
Leif, never heard of him. The first guy you talk to says.
The
See
speckled albatross. Have you seen? Do you know anything about that? Or
I was here 2 days ago on this dock, and he points behind you, behind where he's working, stacking boxes. Parked right here it was. I unloaded. Had shipment of, I think it was those Monday fruits. I think. I don't really remember now. That might have been the other vessel, the Charger. But yeah, it was here 2 days ago.
well, we do have some fine drink here for you gentlemen. If it would help refresh your memory on anything else, it might help us.
A free drink,
Might
you
help us
say?
learn more. Yes, if you have
I
some
can't whistle,
information
so
that
he's
might.
gonna whistle to his buddies, and like 10 guys are gonna turn around and come over. Alright, free drink. What's this? You've got drink, master.
Yes, I'm hoping it might refresh your memories to some more
Well, what do
information
you
about
need
the
to
boat.
know?
Well, we'd just like to know anything you know about Leaf. We
Wow.
have business with them. We'd like to speak with them.
Why don't we have a drink real quick and get a taste of that delicious brew you're carrying around in your hands right there. Let's see what might slip forth once we've been properly lubricated.
Sure, it's the finest from the Laughing Badger. You men should frequent it, and if you enjoy what we have.
Have they heard of the Laughing Badger? Laughing Badger. Yeah, I've heard of that place. That's over south of here. Yeah. That's
Yes,
Make
yes.
sure
like
you
a-
like and subscribe.
That was awesome. Oh man, now we're gonna have to make
Sorry, I
a
didn't
YouTube.
mean to make you cry.
We're gonna have to make a
While
YouTube
they're
channel
while they're
just for
doing
the
that,
Laughing Badger.
while they're doing that, I'm gonna case the dockmasters and just see
It's
about how to get in there. Or something.
yeah, you're too far away to be able to do that. That'd be another 30
Yeah,
minutes.
no, I'm gonna go over. Yeah, I'm gonna walk
He's
over
going to
towards
lead the
it.
group.
So,
Oh, that's
yeah,
like a 30-minute walk. So,
yeah, that's
all
fine.
right. Well, you
Yeah.
do that. You guys are lubricating the dock workers. The Laughing Badger. Yeah, I could have sworn that place was called the Laughing Beaver. It's owned by that halfling lady, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Dwarf.
I
Oh
must
my
say
gosh.
that I did much research when we got here, and in fact, a badger is much different than a beaver.
Much
Oh.
different.
Much different.
But I do understand the
The
confusion.
confusion.
I
Yeah.
was personally quite confused.
Badger has stripes.
They're definitely gonna drink a couple rounds. They're gonna drain your barrel pretty quick. There's 10 guys, so a couple rounds. They're all well juiced at this point. I mean, happy and grateful that you brought them drinks. Unfortunately, none of them know anything beyond what the first guy told you. They just wanted to take advantage of getting some free booze.
Of course.
Hey, we got faction increase.
You did get a faction increase.
Yeah, the dock workers like us at least, at the very
Yeah.
least.
Famous
Well,
the
gentlemen,
generous.
Yeah, thank you.
Gentlemen,
Thank you for your
I'm
time.
glad you enjoyed yourselves. Hopefully it didn't take away from your work.
Oh,
And,
no, we're done for the night now. We're going to go off to the tavern and continue the libations. Thank you very much, sir.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Now, I was so entertained with this that I personally didn't even notice Skinny slip off. So I'm going to be kind of looking around for where did Skinny go at this point.
I don't
Well, I
think
mentioned
any...
earlier about one of the dockmasters. So
Oh, did you?
yeah,
Who'd
I
you
didn't
talk
say I
to?
was doing it now, but yeah, I said just take a look there.
Okay.
So,
You get
Are
to
we
the...
supposed to leave you here?
I don't know. I mean, Skinny disappeared on you guys, so you can assume
Yeah.
he went to the dockmasters. Maybe he's... I mean, he did say that he said something, so we can make the assumption that you guys did know that he was going to slip away and take a look while you guys are doing this. So, you get there. It's a small, two-story structure. There are some lantern lights up on the top floor. Guy probably lives upstairs. Downstairs, you've got a couple of guys patrolling around. That's what you see as you approach.
Okay. So it's not an isolated office or anything like that. It's well looked after.
Yeah, it's
All right.
there's a couple of guards from what you can see patrolling around the perimeter. You've got the just up the street to the north is the Fuwar Trading Company. There's probably 20 guys out front of that place. There's warehouse districts just to the west of you, buildings, excuse me. Behind it, there's buildings. Yeah, there's City Watch on patrol. It's early evening at this point.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, not
That's what I figured.
not an open target at the moment.
No, but even likely, I mean, those guards are likely around all the time, and if he's living up there, that's another thought. Okay, that's fine. Are there any taverns around here, or like in this area? Or are they further down?
There is, in fact, a tavern back in the direction that you came from.
Okay.
I rolled a 20, so you got lucky and got a tavern. Let's call this
So,
one
that first one?
It's sort of back where those guys were hanging out, where your group mates were hanging out. There's that's where
Oh,
the
so
guys
back
that were
there,
just
okay.
drinking with them were like, we're off to this tavern to get some
Right there.
some ale.
Okay.
There's a tavern right there called the Dented Tankard.
All right. I guess I'll just hang out in there for a bit and see after a couple hours if the guard situation changes or what happens.
At the Dockmaster? Oh yeah, no, the guards are there for 2 more hours for sure. They're still there in 2 hours. Just the rest of the group, do you get suspicious that Skinny isn't back after 2 hours? What are you doing for 2 hours? Did you go back to the...
No,
I think we
I
would
would have
go
went
back to the
back. Yeah.
laughing. Yeah, we assumed he said he was going to go and check it out, so he
The
should
town
know that.
seems very peaceful, so I wouldn't think he would be in any danger.
No.
The
I
real
would think
question-
he tends to sneak off on his own.
I would actually assume he may be doing nefarious things, and I would be better off not knowing. So I would return.
Okay.
Yeah, same here.
The real question is Bim okay, guys?
Right, we got to find out if Bim is
So-
Yeah.
okay
We'll go back and check on the
I would be thinking of Ben. Yeah, like we left him, so let's get back.
with the stranger.
He knows what trouble he's got into.
He looked like a ranger, dangerous folk.
Hang on
Make
one
sure Bim
second.
hasn't drank all my ale.
Yeah, well, I think Moira will take care of him.
She would know to water it down at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Best ever straight water.
Cleanses the palate.
Yeah.
1 second here.
So should we head out in the morning, friends? To if the
so.
boat's not there, the ship's not there.
Yeah. Our only thing is to talk to the dock master to see when
See
that
where it
ship
went.
left and where it went.
And where it went.
And if our fellow is even on the ship, he could be here in town.
Right.
And hopefully Skinny's back by morning, and maybe he'll have some information for us.
Okay.
Indeed.
All right, so you guys make your way back. Once you get back to the tavern, this was about 7 o'clock when you got there. You talked to the guys. That would have been 30, 45 minutes. About 8, you get back. It's about 10 o'clock by the time you get back. Evening crowd's gone. There's a couple of people. I mean, the tavern's pretty much died down at this point. There's definitely a few people still there, but it's mostly just the locals who are just hanging out and drinking. Some of the older crowd folk, and Bim in a corner by the fireplace, completely passed out, feet up on the table, and wings curled up around him, and he's like on a little sofa recliner, like drool coming out one side of his mouth, just
Is his
next to the
buddy
fireplace.
around?
Nope.
Yes.
Nope.
Nope.
Mm.
Is this pretty typical position to find him in?
Yes. At this hour, yes.
I'll just grumble and like throw some sort of blanket or something on him.
Thank you.
Bim the drunken brownie.
Mm-hmm.
Poor guy. He's had a rough go of things, man.
You might want to use a more mealy blanket. He's known for vomiting when drinking all night.
Maybe have a bucket I put next to him.
Get a bucket and a mop for this wet ass brownie. Oh wait.
I would assume it's night by now.
Yeah, it's 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I would turn in.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm worried.
We gotta figure out.
Although I am worried about Skinny OOC, I don't think I would be in the game.
You what?
I said I am out of character. I'm quite worried about Skinny though.
He's got this.
Oh, worries.
He's slinking
He's a
around somewhere.
rogue.
At the docks. This is good stuff because I can also put like more stuff on the map, because the map that we have right here was very quickly done, so it gives us the basic layout. But I could definitely put, like, now that we know that there's a tavern there, we can add a tavern to the map. Some other stuff as we flesh out more stuff through roleplay.
Love it.
Okay, Speckled Albatross is not in town. You guys went back. You found Brownie. Your Brownie half asleep, drunk. You tuck in for the night, and you go to sleep. Now, you probably all have separate chambers at this point. Like, you all have your own rooms. Are you charging them rent, or because I would assume that, like, for example, you've got a contract with Bim, so he's probably got free room and board. Chrisma probably free room and board because she's doing business.
Delivering.
Bounty, on the other hand, Bounty, Skinny, and Thamius, what's your arrangement with them? Are they getting free room and board, or are you charging them money, like a discounted rate or something?
Yeah, because if you got 20 rooms, we're burning like 6 of them or 7.
We're burning
We
a
got
lot of
separate
your
rooms, so.
A lot of your retail here, yeah.
But they're also working on that whole conclave thing, so maybe the conclave would compensate me just for their food and stuff like that.
They're using their basement.
Yeah,
they're using not for
using.
Thamius, but the other two, yeah.
Okay, so that just leaves Thamius.
I would gladly pay too. That would be my character.
Right, but we gotta think
I would
of
offer to pay.
an arrangement that works.
Maybe he grooms your badger once a week.
That's how he figured out it was a
It
badger.
wasn't a
Yeah, that's how he
exactly, yeah.
learned.
I was like, wow, well, look at these stripes.
Oh,
Who
weird.
knew?
Never heard of a striped beaver. Oh, and obviously I returned Fairlane's wagon.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. When you wake
Maybe
up
he
in the
could work at
morning,
Fairlane.
I mean, you could, yeah. When you wake up in the morning, and you make your way downstairs, um, Galoon, my darling, and there's a big hairy dwarf with his arms wide as Galoon comes out into the open, and he's got 4 other dwarves with him. Um, this is your cousin, Georgie, who you haven't seen in like
Georgie.
50 years. Let's just call him Georgie the dwarf.
You made me snort.
Georgie the dwarf.
Okay.
It's been forever since we've seen ya. Give us a hug.
Cousin.
All right,
Give him a hug.
he stinks so bad. Like he has.
Oh.
This is obviously he's been on the road. He just got here. He smells like a dwarf on the road should smell. And he's got. Did I say how many he had with him? He's got 4
4?
other dwarves with him.
Is there a bathhouse somewhere around here?
Oh, you've
or
got
in-
one. No, you've got one.
Okay.
You've got one.
Go take a bath before we talk and get cleaned up.
Ah, come on now. You know it's just friendly old dwarven sweat,
Yeah,
and he's gonna.
Don't be that friendly.
Ah, come on now. It's not that bad.
Go take a shower or a bath, or I'll throw you in.
No, it's a nice place you got here. Where's the bathhouse?
I'll lead him
Okay.
down to where he should go.
All right. So you lead him off to the bathhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Once you come back, Myra's like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." They got there in the wee hours of the morning, like 3 o'clock in the morning, and demanded to see Galoon right away. And Myra would not let them see you, and just told them to wait, and gave them ale as every dwarf wants. So they've been drinking since they got here, and they were not only ripe with the road, but also ripe with the. I mean, dwarves can drink, so it doesn't matter what time of day or night it is. So they're off in the
Mhm.
bathhouse.
I
That's
could
what.
talk to them there. I don't mind. Like I could be in the bathhouse while
Okay.
they're doing their thing. And what brings you here?
Ah,
middle of the
opportunity,
night.
my lass, opportunity.
Oh, tell me.
Ah, well, you remember the old mines that your uncle used to have over in the Nilrhein foothills?
I heard
Oh,
tales
well,
growing up.
Yeah, well, there's been the opportunity has arisen to reopen those mines for the savvy few who might want to invest a little bit of coin to get it up and running. Hearing how you've been doing so well with the operation here, I thought I'd stop by and see if you'd like to get in on it with me.
Well, I have all my money right now tied up in expanding.
Ah, come on now. Surely you've got a few coins sitting around.
What's a few coins?
Well, we're thinking probably about 1,000 coin ought to get you in on the
Oh.
ground. It's a
don't have
10%
that many
stake in the
coins.
mine. Come on now, 10% stake in the mine.
Okay, do I know this cousin? Do I know this uncle? Are they good for it? You know,
The
or
uncle,
is this a?
the uncle would be good for it. The cousin,
Mm,
you remember him from years ago. He used to be, wasn't a bad sort, but he used to get into a lot of trouble. But you haven't seen him in like 50 years.
and now he's
Um,
drunk and smelly.
He's been drinking all night. But he never did anything sketchy when he was growing up. He was just a dwarven ruffian being a dwarven ruffian growing up.
Mhm.
The uncle was a very stand-up guy, solid miner. The mine fell into disrepair because he broke his leg and he couldn't run the mine anymore. And the kids didn't want to run it. Now this is the brother of one of the other brothers, or the son of one of the other brothers, sorry, that didn't have anything to do with the mine at the time. The mine fell into disrepair. This is like family history type stuff for you. The mine fell into disrepair. It hasn't been used for about 30 years, but it was a pretty successful copper mine when it was running.
Okay, and is is this a big amount of money for me? I have no idea what kind of bank statement I have.
That's a good That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't
Probably
know.
not. I mean, if that guy offered us 600 for,
Because I was looking for expansion and things like that already.
Yeah.
And I didn't expand, so maybe I still have that money. I don't know.
Yeah. How much money would you have needed to expand?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at your characters. I don't even remember how much gold you had. Inventory, plus you just got some. I mean, you got 300 now. I mean, I would say that yes, it's a sizable sum. You've got 300 on you, which was left over from the previous, but you came back from that trip. You had invested a bunch of money to take the trip, to take the supplies over there. Those didn't go anywhere. That didn't turn into anything. You had paid for permits and permissions that didn't go anywhere. So you lost money on that venture. You came back, and the trade has gone downhill because of all the things that are happening with the Church of the Elder Ways. You're keeping afloat by working with Chrisma and shipping beer and ale up the coast to Whitecliff and other small port towns. And your local bed and breakfast here does okay, but you're not rolling in it. 1,000 gold for you would be, I would say that, you know, off the books, no one else knows this, but you've probably got about 5,000 gold squared away for like an expansion. So
Mm-hmm.
this would definitely tap into that. Um, and take a chunk of that. Is he good for it? I mean, the uncle was good for it. It's the same family. Dwarves kind of operate on a clan-based mentality. You don't know enough. Um,
Is the uncle, what's his name? Uncle so and so. Uncle
uh,
Reagan.
let's call him
Uncle
Uncle
Ray.
Reagan.
All right, Uncle Reagan. Is he going to be involved in some
No,
way? I know he's
Uncle Reagan's died. So
he
that's why
died.
So the
Oh.
mine went up for auction. Um, uh, and that's what he's here offering. There's an auction at
Mhm.
play, and he's looking to buy the rights to the mine.
Is there
and
any other family involved?
there's cousin Dolly, and you remember she's a little older now, but the grandmother Sweetleaf.
Mm-hmm. Is she going to help you run it?
Well, she'll probably do some of the managing, perhaps. So there's two
Mm.
family members involved that you know of. You've heard of them. You're not intimately familiar with them, but definitely in. He's trying to raise 10,000 gold. He's already raised 6. And when he was in the area and had heard that you were doing fairly well off with your brewing operations and thought
Mhm.
that I thought it might be something you might want to be interested in if you're looking to branch out with your
interested.
business because of how things are going with these church folk, and it's a bit hard
Mm.
doing the ale these days.
Well, I'm definitely interested. I wouldn't give you the money up front till you have the other 3,000.
So
Of
you're saying I
course,
need to
but
gather 3,000 more, but then you're good for it, yeah? You're in.
if the other family is into helping, yeah, I'd love to help.
So come back when I've raised the other 3,000, aye?
I
I'll be back then. And
cheers.
you mind if we stay for a couple of days?
No, feel free.
All
Family's
right, all
always
right, all
welcome.
right, all right. So I need to write this down. Needs.
Just don't be drinking all my ale. Business isn't great, as you say.
Just taking notes here real quick.
Mm-hmm. I don't like family that much, Moojin.
I don't think she trusts him 100%.
No.
Can you
She
trust
trusts
a
him.
drunk dwarf? I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
She trusts him 1,000 worth.
He's just 1,000, not 3,000.
probably trust a drunk dwarf more than one that stays sober. So.
Yeah, what's wrong with that dwarf?
Abnormal dwarf.
Okay.
And what happened to Skinny last night? Where's Skinny?
I don't know if
Yeah.
Skinny's back. If Skinny's back, he can fill you in.
And I want
Yeah, I
to
think
plant
if those
him.
guys were walking around, I probably would have come back. No point. And if he
And you're
lives,
gonna look for Bim. All right.
Yeah, I want to find Bim. Talk to him.
I would be discussing with Skinny what he found out, which we already know, but
yeah, I couldn't do too much. I was hoping to, find an unlocked door, of course, to walk through. No, I was hoping to make a late night visit to the dockmasters, but there was a few others who were walking around trying to dissuade that from happening. So I really couldn't find anything out. We're gonna have to check out the office in the morning. Well, check out the office now.
yes,
Mhm.
I do believe that even with everything going on, that following and being lawful to the city is probably in our best interest. We don't want to raise any attention to ourselves.
Oh, there would have been no attention, but which is why I'm back here. So yeah, I wanted to be sure. There's no point in doing anything too crazy at this point for this. It's not worth it.
All
So
right.
we'll see what he has to say.
Breakfast is being served as you guys are meeting up in the morning here. So you can all gather at the table like you normally would. And we could be gathering while Skinny is filling you guys in on his escapades.
And
the
Bim
night
shows
before.
up.
Do I see Bim?
Yeah, where's Bim?
I mean,
Are
I'm
you
still
there?
passed out on the couch, am I not?
No, you're awake. You're happy to
Oh,
see
I'm
everyone.
awake.
Yeah.
Ah,
Bim,
Woke
friends,
up.
bounty.
Bim, my
Bounty
good
to you.
friend.
Oh, it's so good to see you.
Uh,
I'm
so
feeling much better this morning.
great, great. How was your new friend last night? Did he say anything, offer anything, explain anything?
I'm having a hard time remembering. I just feel really great this morning, and it's just so good to see you. It's great.
Okay.
All
I'll
right.
have
Fill
some
your little,
breakfast.
yeah,
Have
fill
some
your little
bacon.
belly, Bim, and
I
Not
guess
with ale. With breakfast.
with food. Yes, with food, and we have some business. We're going to be heading up to the dockmaster, and we'll fill him in on everything going on.
Is Moira around? Or no? I know
She
she
should
was for a
be.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
She
she's
runs the
helping
Happen to
out.
place.
working? Do you ever working 20 hours a day or what? I mean, come on.
She lives here.
Okay. Moira, I just wondered, did Bim's drinking buddy happen to stay here the night, or did he leave at some point?
Hey, drinking buddy. I'm don't know who you're talking about. There's 500 people who come here through every day. I can't keep track of all of them.
Oh, I just figured she would know Bim, so she might have seen who he was with or serving
Bim
him.
drinks with
Yeah,
Bim drinks with like 50 different
fair
people
point.
every night. He's got a lot of drinking buddies.
So nothing weird happened,
Fair point.
obviously.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
no. Alright,
If you guys are
Yeah.
planning on heading back to the Dockmaster after breakfast, this is probably a good stopping point for the evening because we are almost to 10 p.m.
Mhm.
Before we get into any trouble. Um,
Trouble? What?
Wait,
but I
what?
mean, the dice could be good. The dice could be bad. You never know. But we have established a few dangling threads for you to pull on as you
Just
work
for
your way throughout the city.
clarification, the foothills you mentioned with the mine, that's the foothills where the camps are down south? Is that
It's
right?
in that general.
Right,
I don't want
yeah.
to pull this off
Generally.
the. So, I got a rolling cat
Yeah,
over
I know it's
here.
not gonna be the same, but yeah, general area.
Generally it's going to be southwest. The mines that he's speaking of are not actually in the Nilrenheim foothills themselves. Hi, what's up? Is this Leia? It is Leia. They would be in. There's a mountain range on the. You guys should have the world maps, but if you don't, there's a lake just southwest of Forkland, and there's mountains underneath that, and in those foothills were the mines. Those don't actually have a name yet on the map, so we could probably give them a name if we decide to pursue those mines.
But it's kind of the same general direction as
But it's not quite far south enough. That mine
Right.
is probably a week's journey from here by horseback. And you're talking a month long journey to get to the lands where the rebellions are taking place, or the rumored to be taking place.
Right. Okay.
So that's going to be the stopping point tonight. I would say for anyone who tuned in tonight live on Twitch, thank you very much. Thanks to Mujin for resubscribing. For those of you who want to subscribe, this is a great place to do so. It helps all of us out as we continue to grow this. And I would say do us a favor. Season 1 is just starting. If you like what you saw here tonight, share this out. Share it out with all your friends, all your family, anybody you think who would like what we're growing here. Obviously, we already went through the first 10 episodes of the prequel, of the prologue. Those are already up on our YouTube channel, so you can share those out with people. But season 1 is where the real fun begins, because now we've gotten the initial prologue out of the way. We've got a lot building here, and we're going to be going forth from here and doing a lot of amazing things. And we haven't actively started pursuing marketing or anything like that yet, but now's the time that we're ready to do so. So share it out, like, subscribe, all those good things. If you can't afford to do so, obviously subscribe here. On YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you get more updates. Obviously, these are live every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Central, and then we push them out to the YouTube channel on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Central. The sourcebook and the prologue module can be picked up for sale at weaveofvoid.com, or you can get a copy as a Dungeon Master subscriber over on our Patreon page. And part of being a Dungeon Master subscriber means you get access to the updates that happen throughout the week, plus art packs, map packs, and etc. For example, the map that we just showed off tonight for Forkland is part of the upcoming map pack that is being worked on right now for this new campaign module. Now, the way these are going to work, if you don't have access to the Patreon page, I'll give a very brief overview. Season 1 is going to be broken down into multiple story arcs. Could be 5 or 6, kind of what I have on the book so far. It depends on the actions that these folks take during this campaign sessions. Each time we get to the end of the arc, that arc will become a module that is then going to go up for sale at our website. Or if you're a Dungeon Master subscriber, you get it delivered to you as part of your subscription. And along the way, you're getting access to everything as it's being written in real time, all the maps as they're being done in real time, new artwork from Nathan, new artwork from Chris, new artwork from Becca's going to be coming down the pipeline as well, and anybody else that we bring on board as we continue to build things. The Patreon page is how we can afford to pay everybody. Joey and I and Chris do not take any money from that. It's paying for Nathan, it's paying for Becca, it's paying for assets and things of that nature. So if you like what you see here today and you want to support and help us grow and get bigger and do better things, the Patreon page is the place to go. But just by being here, it's great for you to support and give us your Sunday night. So thanks so much for that. We will be back next week, more of the same. We now have a bigger and better establishment. We have our own tavern as a base of operations. We have our own ship, which can be used to travel up and down the coast and do things with. Could be good or could be bad. You never know. There's a lot going on in the city. You just woke up in the morning. There is a conclave meeting today as well that's going to be taking place in the early afternoon. So that'll be something we get into when we get back. So stay tuned for next week, everybody. Thanks so much for following. I'll let everybody do a roundtable good evening for the end of the session here.
Guys, thanks for coming.
Good night, everyone.
Night, folks.
Good night, everybody.
Good evening.
Good night.
See you next week, everybody.